All right, so perfect. Now we're recording and we should get started on the right foot. Okay, so today we're talking about profit first model for business banking, right? So it is a method that I'm going to pull it up on my other screen and maybe just share my screen, give you guys a brief kind of overview of what they talk about. And then there's different percentages that you allocate for these different business bank accounts. So there's 5 major accounts, and we'll go through that here in a second. So let's see, can I share my screen? Yay, I can share. Okay, so I just pulled this up real quick. This is just the summary of the book, Profit First, by Mike Michalowicz. I can't say that. Jake's laughing.
I'm not going to try. Yeah.
No. You're not even going to try? I love it. Okay, fine. But basically, in the book, they talk about, a way of doing your business accounting. And like I said, to start, I've owned several businesses, and for most of my businesses, I just had one business bank account. All the money came in, all the money went out, whether it was, the pool hall that I used to own, and I had payroll and I had expenses, utilities and all these things all happening in this one bank account. And then with real estate investing too, I would never really had separate accounts for all of my different fix and flips that were happening at the same time. And it's hard to keep track of who's paying what contractor and for what property is it for. So I always knew that I wanted to have sub accounts, but didn't know really what that should look like. So the profit first method of accounting was something, again, Jake and I implemented as soon as we started Allura Homes. I see that they have an exercise in here. I'm wondering if we're going to see the different percentages. Okay. This is what happens when you prepare 5 minutes before a call. So anyway, the profit first model basically says you should have a minimum of 5 business bank accounts. It is your income. So any money that comes in from a title, from rents, for anything like that, goes into an income account. And then it's how do you split up the income from that account? Basically, from the income, we go to our profit account, our owner's compensation account, our operating expenses, and taxes. So those are the 5 accounts. And every time you get income in, you then move money to one of the other 4 accounts. Okay, so again, that's operating expenses, profit, owner's compensation, and taxes. So in the book, they explain based on the size of your business. So apparently I have to sign up to actually get the book summary here, but that's not useful. I'm going to see if I can just pull up the percentages, because based on the income of the type of business that you have, there's different percentages that they say that you should move into each sub account. So
Marie, is it income, profit, operating costs, owner, what was it? Owner.
Yep. So I'm sharing that now, Sal. So you have your income account, which is your revenue, right? Everything that the business brings in. And then you have a profit account, an owner's compensation or pay for owners, a tax account, and an operating expense. And Lorraine, I know you're on the call, so if at any point you want to jump in and talk about, business banking related to taxes and gives us some tips and tricks, that's great. Feel free to unmute yourself. But in the meantime, I just wanted to share everyone, this is the actual clip from one of the pages in the book that basically says, depending on what the income range of your business is, this is the recommendation from the book on how you should split that up, right? 15% for taxes across the board, but basically there's differences in your operating expenses versus how much you need to pay yourself. Obviously, if you're a small business and that's your only source of income, you know, you want to compensate yourself with a little bit higher pay, but as the business starts to make more money, you can lower that percentage. I'm curious about the 0%. You must just pay yourself as an employee when you get over a $10 million business. But basically, Jake and I looked at this and we actually tweaked it just a little bit, I think, because we were looking in this range, right, Jake? But we really wanted to have like 50% go back into operating expenses. So we kind of made up our own percentages. That's kind of a mix of, well, I'll say actually all three of these columns, because I think we take 30% for owner's pay, we do 5% profit, 15% for tax, and 50% for operating expenses. So before I go any further, I just wanted to stop here. Does anybody have any questions? Does this make sense to everyone? Is everyone going to go out and buy the book? Yeah. Profit first.
So as an example, let's say you have $100,000 in real revenue. Okay, let's use that as a round number.
Mm-hmm.
So you would put the 100,000 into the revenue account, and then 10% of that $10,000 would go into profit, 35% would go into owner's pay, 15% there, and then 40% of that there.
So this is the recommendation if the business is making between 250 and 500,000.
Okay,
you
gotcha.
specified 100,000, so you would actually, again,
that level.
Just
okay.
According to the book, it's the recommendation. You can do whatever you want. These were just recommendations that they made over analyzing several businesses and where money needed to be allocated for those businesses. But yes, what the concept that you said, Sal, is correct. Whatever column you choose, or again, like I said, Jake and I kind of did a little bit of a mixture. That's up to you and how you run the business. But I just kind of wanted to share the idea of it. Because I think it's really important. I mean, as small business owners, a lot of us forget to pay ourselves, especially when you start a business and you still have a W-2 job. You're still relying on your W-2 income, right, to pay all your bills. And you're not even thinking about when you transition and leave that W-2, now, are you going to actually have the money to start paying yourself an income, right? So I just think that it gets easily overlooked. And this helps with the accounting and keeping kind of everything streamlined for our company. So again, Jake and I specifically, we do 50% operating expenses, 15% taxes, 5% profit, and only 30% for our owner's compensation. So it's kind of this little mixture, but it all adds up to 100. Okay.
And to kind of talk about a little bit of the other hand of what Marie just said, where like, let's say you're in this all 100% and you don't have the W-2, having this in place, you know, for me has been really helpful, because I know that we're factoring in income and you're making sure that you have that security that sometimes people just throw to the wind when they leave their W-2 and they start this entrepreneurial journey. So by budgeting for that and making sure that it's actually part of your accounting from the get-go, you can, you know, get yourself a little confidence in what you're doing, and then a little breathing room. Because I mean, speaking from somebody who's taken that jump and that plunge from, you know, the most consistent, you know, pretty comfortable lifestyle with the military to absolute freedom and total, you know, it is what you make it entrepreneur lifestyle. Before I teamed up with Marie and I was doing all the accounting just kind of from one account, and we were pulling things in and using Excel sheets, and just it was scary. It was horrible. It was like, well, where's all this money going? And I always knew I had taxes in the back and like in the back of my mind. And since we started doing this, there's just so much clarity in what's happening with our money right from day one.
Yeah, and it's really easy now for us to kind of allocate even the operating expenses, right? So we recently talked about having a separate payroll account so that, yes, payroll comes out of that 50% for our operating expenses, but we also were just like, it's going to be so much easier for us to track and maintain as we're wholesaling properties, that we have enough money to pay next month's payroll, right? That we don't all of a sudden spend too much money on marketing and other expenses. And we're like, oh shit, we can't pay anybody. Like, we're not going to have enough money for payroll this month. So we did actually add a separate account in our business banking for that as well. So again, I'm gonna open up who we actually do our business banking with and kind of give you a sneak peek into our business bank account. So no judgment, because it doesn't have tons of money in it, but I
actually, I actually already went in here and got like a snapshot of everything with all of our account numbers, like, blurted out, since we're recording this, and who knows who's going to see it. So we'll do that one instead.
Okay. I love it. I love it. But yeah, we just wanted to really just come, across as just saying, like, this is something that we thought was so crucial for our business. We read this, and now we'll go into how we've kind of tweaked it and adapted it for our specific business. But so far, everybody on the same page?
Super quick question, Marie, real quick.
Yeah.
Difference, it's foundational questions. Difference between owner's compensation and profit.
Yeah, so that's something that Jake and I ask ourselves every day. And every once in a while, we're like, dang, we need some extra money. Let's just pull it out of profit. I feel like Lorraine would almost probably be better to answer this, but you want to show that your business is profitable. So if you were ever to sell the business, right, aside from what you pay yourself, the business should be actually a profitable business. We haven't figured out exactly what we're going to do with the money in the profit account. Like I said, we have run into months where we're just like, all right, we need a little extra marketing this month. So we'll just take the money out of profit and put it into operating expenses and use it. But from my understanding, it's really just to show that the business is actually profitable.
Got it.
And then
Okay,
also from like a business credit standpoint,
Sorry guys, I'm multitasking at the moment, so I'm listening, and yeah. So I would say I would agree with keeping a couple of things. I would agree with keeping the account separate in terms of like profit and owner's compensation. Specifically, it's depending on your business structure. If you are going to be paying yourself, or if you haven't gotten to the point of being an S Corp, you should be paying out yourself. And so that account needs to be separate from profit. The other quick thing that I'll mention is with taxes. And I know that the graphic that was showing is a bit of a like boilerplate in terms of like percentages, but I would just say it does warrant a conversation, because those are wide ranges. And so someone who's making 250,000, I think that was some of the ranges in that example.
Yep,
Someone
0 to
making
250.
250,000 should ideally be putting more away than 15%, as opposed to someone who's making 50,000, right? So obviously, like, those are baselines, so don't take those at face value, but it is a great model to go by, especially starting out. So sorry I'm not on video, you hear my niece in the background, but yeah, just wanted to mention those things.
Yeah, and so that's a great comment too, Lorraine, right? So this specific, caption that I showed from the book, it has every single business in here just putting 15% away for taxes. But that's a generalization, again, across the board. So, as Lorraine said, what do you need for your business? It depends, right? So make sure that you get specific advice on your business and your business model on what that number should be.
It depends. T-shirts and hoodies coming soon, guys, just so you know. Coming
yes.
soon.
I like it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Marie, don't most banks kind of limit how many accounts you can put in?
Yeah.
I kind of ran into that a little bit.
Thank you. That's why we're going into this next section on actually doing our business banking. Thank you, Sal. Did you just
like butter,
heat up
smooth as butter.
I'm hitting a home run now. No, so that's the thing is I did all of my business banking with Chase, and you know, I was getting direct deposit from my old W-2 job. We had all these things. I had Chase for years, and it was very convenient for me. I felt like, because I had a couple of free, you know, money coming in, so I would get a free checking account. But once you look at and you want sub accounts for our Chase specifically, you have to have at least $35,000 in the bank account at all times in order for that business bank account with sub accounts to be a free monthly checking account. Otherwise, you're going to be paying, you know, anywhere from $30 to $50 a month just for business banking to be able to have those sub accounts. So that is one of the big things in the back of the book, Profit First. And you can Google it, you know, Profit First local banks if you want, but it was very much like you had to find a local bank or a bank that would allow you to do this model. So what I actually ended up finding and what we're using is called Relay Financial. The website is just relayfi.com. I even have a lovely QR code I can share with you guys if you want to scan it and set up an account with them through us. We do have a small affiliate with them, but it's pays us basically nothing, but we do get paid on referrals. So just so you know, but I started banking with them like over a year ago, just because of this specific thing. They allow for every single business that you have, you can have up to 20 sub accounts in that business bank checking account. So this is an example, and they actually recently just transitioned over. They did a major upgrade. They were Relay 1.0 and now they're 2.0. So you'll notice that we have two Allura NC OpEx accounts, a 1.0 and a 2.0. That's just because the bank didn't upgrade. All the other accounts have already been transitioned over. We still had a few bucks left in our 1.0 account. So you can just ignore that. But for the purposes of going with the Profit First model, this allowed us to create all the different sub accounts. So like I said, for Allura NC, we have our income account, which is on the bottom left. So every time we do a wholesale deal and the, you know, attorney's office or title company sends us money, it goes into that income account. From that income account, then we start doing our percentages to the OpEx account, the owner's comp account, the tax account, and the profit account. Now we also acquired 2 properties recently on seller finance and one that we just bought outright. So we created 2 separate sub accounts for those. We are actually talking about moving those properties into a separate entity because obviously this is really our active income entity, which we want to keep the rentals separate. But we just opened a separate account for that and a separate entity for that. So we will move those over. But again, like I mentioned before too, we added the payroll account recently so that we could separate what goes into the OpEx account and pull out payroll month to month just to have it sitting in that payroll account so that we never spend too much out of our operating expenses, you know, for marketing, for everything else that we're doing and neglecting payroll. So I don't know if this snippet is helpful for you guys, but I actually love banking with Relay for this specific reason. Because you can have up to 20 sub accounts and it's completely free. And I don't know any other bank that allows you to do that.
That, and I think one of my favorite things is, and you touched on it just briefly, Marie, but the fact that you can like set the percentages. So let's say, you know, you get this obscure check for $32,353.17, right? Instead of having to sit down and like do all the math and be like, oh man, am I sticking to my Profit First numbers? You just put the percentages in there.
Yeah. So when you're moving money from one account to another, you get to choose the account that you want to move the money from, and then the account that you want to move the money to, and you can select all 4 different accounts and select percentage and tell it what percentage goes to each one of those accounts. And then it does the calculation for you and moves the money over. So it's got a little calculation built in. That's still done manually. It doesn't automatically move the money once it comes into the account.
Since
What's
these
your
are
question, Dominique?
since these are sub accounts, do you have to keep any money in your income account, or is it all basically in the same account? It's just computer showing it in different accounts, allocating it.
Correct. So they don't require any minimum balance in any of these accounts either. So you can keep zero in the income or any of the other accounts at any time.
I mean, we actually intentionally empty our income account every time we get money. So we keep that at zero as often as we can.
Bye, Lorraine. Lorraine said she's got to go.
I guess the other question I would have, which is kind of specific to me, do they have actual trust accounts at this bank? Because I have property management, so my rents and stuff have to go into trust accounts because it's not considered my money. It's somebody else's rental property.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm really not sure about that. I know that you can have different people have access to the accounts and things like that. But like when you said trust account originally, I was thinking of like my 401k trust account, which I have with a completely separate online bank as well. But I'm not sure, Dominique, so I would have to look into that for you.
Yeah, I can give them a call. It's okay.
Yeah,
Marie, did you want to share that QR code in case anybody wants to check it out?
sure. Let me pull it up on my side screen and then I will share. And I'll actually share one other thing on my screen as well. Okay. So share screen. I'm going to share my main screen. I'm not going to be able to see you guys. Oh, I can see you guys. Well, that's weird. You can't have all that stuff over it because then you'll never see the actual whole total QR code. All right, how do I open it in something other than this?
Well, it worked for me.
It did work for you?
Yeah. Yeah, it's at Relay.
Yeah, perfect. So that is the, affiliate link that they give us. We get like a whopping $10 for anyone that we refer to Relay. So it's nothing amazing, but we also do have the option of bringing in a Relay specialist for one of these calls. I couldn't get them on for this week, but real quick, what I do want to show you guys, I know Jake showed us the screenshot with his lovely blurring out. Good thing you can't see my password. So I don't know how much we talked about entity structure on the last day because I left. But just to give you this is my entity structure. For all, I literally have every single holding company, companies that have just rentals in them and all these things set up in here. So I love the fact that I can just easily come in here and access all of the companies. And it's very easy to swap between them. You think Sean would get upset if I show them our Investor Harvest account? Don't worry, guys. We're not getting rich off you guys yet. So Dominique, what you asked, this shows your total balance, right? So that's between all of the sub accounts for this business. And I just want to do a quick demo on really how easy it is to split money between. So income revenue. So the Stripe account that we have, income comes through our Stripe account, and then we get to move it to all the other accounts. So you'll see, like, I manually set this up and moved money to our taxes, our profit, our owner's comp, our operating expenses. And it's literally as simple as saying, okay, I want to take money from our income account and I want to move it to, and you just select every single account that you want to move money to. And we do 10, 15.
You're at dollar amount, not percentage though.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And that would change things. So yeah, so click percentage and then move everything. 15, 10, we do 25 and 50. That was what we agreed to do for this company. So once you have all your percentages in there, obviously it calculates it for you, but you have to put in the dollar amount. So that would also be helpful. Currently in the income, there's $679.85. So I can choose the whole amount, $679.85. And you can see it just does the math for you for all those different accounts. Right, so total money to be transferred one time, click next, verify, and initiate the transfer. You get these lovely confirmations. And it tells you, yay, everything got moved. And then again, you can come back to your accounts and just verify, hey, my income account is at 0. All the other accounts got updated. That was still the overall. So, and again, for me, having so many businesses that I can come in here, switch, and it will bring me back and say, okay, which business do you want to look at now? So that's pretty much all I wanted to share with you guys. Again, if you want to use the QR code to set up an account with Relay, contact them. See if they do those trust accounts, Dominique, because again, I'm not 100% sure. But what I just showed you, that's all done through a free checking account. So we're not paying any monthly fees right now for any of our business banking.
Do they have any, how do you go about, like if for some reason you have cash or cashier's checks or something to deposit those?
Yeah, so they do have a mobile app. So we do deposit checks on the mobile app. Other than that, I have not tried to deposit cash. So I wouldn't even know what the process is. They do have an affiliate with an ATM though. Let me see what that is. And they do also have tons of integrations. So here, actually, let me share one more time just to pull up the website and show you kind of some of the.
And then even if you're not going to use the profit first model, which I don't know, everybody has their own opinions and whatnot, but just from a banking standpoint with Relay, I love the fact that like we're able to break it up for each different property that we have. So from an accounting perspective, knowing that, all the rents are going back and filtering through this account. We have, the contingency money for, all these repairs are set aside in this account. Just keeps things super clean.
Yep. So Dominique, the phone number is right there at the top, the 888-205-9304, if you want to give them a call. Like I said, they do have lots of integrations and things like that. So I can show you guys some of that. And then even for pricing, oh my gosh. So we are completely using a free account. They will send you physical debit cards. What I also love about this is they also send you virtual debit cards though. So our virtual assistant that you guys all met, Rihanna, she has access to a virtual debit card and has a spending limit of up to $500. And so she gets in and, when we had to set up batch leads or any type of online accounts, she can go in and create that for us. So that's really awesome. And that you can just issue a virtual debit card right there on the spot and get all your numbers to use. ACH and wire transfers. They do charge a small fee for those, but we get lots of that. And basically you can see here, you get up to 20 accounts, no matter if you do Relay or Relay Pro. There's really not much that I, see a difference that would make me pay the $30 a month for Relay Pro. The ACH does take a day or two with the free ones, but I pay all of our contractors through this app as well. And when the contractor sends me an invoice, or when I even have to pay like my cleaning ladies for my Airbnbs, I pay them through this ACH. It goes into their account. And when they agreed to receive money from me, Relay actually asks you, do you want to send them a W-9? So for anyone that you're going to need to send a 1099 as a contractor, Relay, once you set up your first initial payment with them, will require them to fill out the W-9 for you. So that's a huge time saver as well.
And all you need is the email. They have to send in everything else. So you don't have to have all their information.
Right. So you don't get their banking information or anything like that. You're just sending them a request saying, hey, we want to pay you. This is how much you're going to get paid. You have to put in all your banking information, and then Relay will do the ACH transfer for you. Oh, and also we're not going to do it unless you fill out this W-9.
Right.
So it makes it really convenient for you as a business owner. So yeah, they do have a couple of fees for, outgoing wire transfers. Income wire transfers are free. They integrate with QuickBooks, Xero, Gusto, Plaid. So a lot of the major accounting softwares they will integrate with. Yeah, this is the only thing, accounts payable, but we don't pay them through QuickBooks. We're paying everything directly through Relay anyway, so we don't really need that integration. So it didn't make sense for us to have to pay for the Pro account. So yeah, I did tons of research on different business banks. Obviously a lot of small local banks also allow you to do the profit first model, but if Jake and I are doing business in North Carolina and I'm here in Arizona, if he gets an account with a local small bank that maybe doesn't have a lot of fancy online tools and stuff, it was like, how was I going to be able to access that or help manage that part of the business? And I don't know if you guys remember our org chart, but I'm in the financial, responsibility category for our business. So even though I'm not local, I needed to be able to handle, the finances and stuff. So this was just a great solution for us. Like I said, they're primarily for business banking, period. I don't think they do any personal bank accounts. So all of their resources is geared towards business owners and entrepreneurs, which I love. And it's pretty easy to set up the account. You literally have to record like a 10-second video that says, hi, my name is Maria Baginski, and I give Relay permission to open this business bank account on my behalf. And then, scan your license and upload it and scan your IRS form with the EIN number and send that in. And that was it. Those were the 3 key documents that was needed. So is that helpful? Does anybody have any questions? Saw Mia shaking her head in her car. Are you jamming out to music, Mia, or were you listening?
I'm on my way to California.
Nice.
You're gonna see all the snow on the mountains out here. Like, look how crazy that is.
I know, it was crazy. The trip home from Vegas was amazing to me. I'm like, how do we still have that much snow on the mountains in March? Yep. We've had some crazy weather. It was pouring here yesterday.
But I'm super excited about this Relay thing because I just started separating all of my bank accounts and everything and like doing it on my own through, I'm using Desert Financial right now. So I have like 3 bank accounts with all these different things, and then the savings accounts, and then like separating my taxes and all that. And this just sounds way easier. So I made jump ship right after I've just joined Desert Financial and all of my stuff started to get organized. So thanks for one more thing to add to my to-do list.
Sorry, but I mean,
that.
it really is like a lifesaver in the business, especially, like I said, trying to keep all those financials and actually knowing, like, now we can weekly, when our meetings, track our financials, and literally we just open up Relay and it's like, okay, where are we? You know, what's going on? How's everything looking? And it's a one-stop shop to really look at everything. And it makes it so convenient. And again, like Jake knows from his other wholesaling company, he was never taking money for himself. Now it's like we get money from a wholesale. Okay, we made $15,000 profit on this one, move all the money. And I'm like, all right, Jake, go take your half of the owner's compensation account, and I can take my half of the owner's compensation account, so we can both get paid. And he's actually been able to pay himself from this business that I don't think he ever did on his first company.
Oh yeah, no way. My first company, everything just got doubled back down into marketing, and we were really doing things wrong, like on multiple levels. We were doing like the shotgun blast marketing that Sean was talking about. So when I say doubling down into marketing, I mean everything was going into just skip tracing these massive lists and all the other marketing stuff that was, you know, part of that, and I wasn't paying myself at all, and I felt like I was just drowning, and you know, like all this unnecessary stress. And then since having more visibility of our money and actually prioritizing paying ourselves and everything, it's just this weight is kind of taken off your shoulders. So if you're in that situation, even a little bit, even if you're relying on this for, you know, a portion of your income, and you're still, you know, maybe working part-time or something, pay yourself. It'll be so much easier. You'll feel so much better. So what, your OPEX account has a few $100s less, you're going to find a way to make your OPEX account work. But if you are losing sleep at night because you're so stressed out because you have no money in your own account, that's a detriment to so much more than not having enough money in the OPEX account to buy a round of bandit signs, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I want to add something that we kind of touched base on with Lorraine's presentation on the last day of the seminar. But one other thing to like really that this is going to be a super help with is for me
We lost
buy
you.
houses. Well, in order for me to buy houses, I buy to show a good enough income on my taxes in order to qualify to buy houses, since all of my income is commission based.
Right.
So it's really, really important to make sure that all of those numbers are panning out properly, and that when tax time comes, I'm not allowed to write all of my taxes off to pay as little as possible, because I need to make sure that my income's high enough. And this is a great way to keep track of that and make sure that my taxes are going to be good, and that I'm going to have enough to pay taxes, and that I'm going to make enough money to buy my next house, because that's what it's all about. So I'm stoked on this.
Nice.
Good. I'm glad that was good information. I'll actually also put the link in the chat again. If you click on that link, we will get a very small referral fee, but obviously they're free checking accounts. So it's not like we're getting anything crazy.
Yeah, we actually hooked you up with a discount. You don't pay anything.
Yeah, we're hooking you up with a free checking account with Relay.
Yeah.
Question
Can you
for
put
you,
it in the
Ray J.
Discord chat so I can click it later?
Yeah, I'll send it to you, Mia.
Thanks.
What's up, Chris?
Question. So when y'all opened it, did y'all open it together or just as the business? So you both have access?
So we both
you
have
both
our
are-
we both have our independent Relay accounts for our independent companies, and then because of our structure, yes, we opened the Allura Homes and the Allura Homes NC accounts together. So
Gotcha.
you both have to verify, like you and your father will have to verify. You'll have to both go through that verification step that Marie talked about.
Got it.
Stare awkwardly into the camera and read that I think it's like I am a person and I authorize Relay Financial for transactions or something like that.
Yeah, it was literally like, my name is Maria Baginski and I authorize Relay Financial to open up a checking account for me or something. Like they tell you exactly what you have to say, but you have to do it over a video record. I will tell you though, I've done that video recording once, saved it on my phone and on my computer, and every single business account that you saw in there that I opened, I upload the same file every time. So they've
Good
never
idea.
asked me to like date check the file or anything like that. So yeah.
Yeah, we
so
got
I
her.
think
Send in the team.
yeah. But I opened the account and then sent the request to Jake. So that's a good question, but you can easily add team members and you can
Gotcha.
choose. When you're initially setting it up, you can set them up as owners. It will ask you, does anyone else own 25% or more of the company? So for me and Jake, we were both in there as 50-50 owners. Obviously for Investor Harvest, it was like, yeah, me, Jake, Sean, and Roger. And before we started the account, like I was like, Sean, did you go in and like verify with Relay? Because I can't do, like, the bank account's not officially open until every single one of us has verified. So we all went in. I initially set it up and like uploaded the EIN number, but like Jake said, then every single one of them had to individually upload their ID and that little quick recording.
Cool, thank you.
Welcome.
And then again, like Jake and I, after we both had verified and we had it set up, then we were able to add Rihanna as an administrator. You can add someone called a bill payer. You can add an accountant access. So I don't know how many users they allow, but we haven't run into an issue with that yet either.
Look at the way this mountain looks.
Are you talking to us, Mia? Or you
No,
got
the mountains are pretty.
Oh, the mountains are pretty. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna mute you now. The mountains are pretty. Love her. So yeah, any other questions from anybody on what we do? I think it's super simple. Again, it does take a day or two for those ACH transfers to go to, our contractors or anybody like that. But for the most part, nobody's been complaining like, I asked you for payment, you didn't pay me, like it didn't come through on the same day. Anything else that you can think of, Jake?
No, I think we really covered it all. It's just like hopefully this is like at least got you thinking about how you're banking on your own. But I immediately switched over once we started using this with Allura Homes and like just seeing how easy it was and all the features that we've already talked about. I switched all my other banking over to this because it's like an epiphany. Yeah, it just made sense.
Yeah.
I've got a question for you guys regarding this. So once you made the switch over, so for example, Marie, you were talking about you had Chase before as your business banking. So we have Chase also. So once you guys made the switch over, did you close out your Chase account or did you keep that for credit, for business credit or anything like that?
That's a good question. I still have a business bank account with Chase for a separate business. But I have applied for like Chase credit cards and stuff for Allura Homes, even though we don't bank with them, and I've gotten approved for those, no problem. So I did keep one of my businesses that I already had. My like, what the heck is my business name? Yeah, my Stellar Property Solutions. I was like, I couldn't even think about it. Like that I do my local flips in. So I still have that one, but that one they still allow me free because I have enough income coming in through other things or whatever. So I still have all my personal accounts with Chase as well. My kids' savings account, my husband's account, our joint account, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yep. So I will say Chase, their business credit cards are amazing. What's up,
Marie,
Melissa?
can I ask, because of the account that you guys have between yourself and Jake, the business, how do you guys structure that inside your virtual accounts as far as, because I know you guys share rental units and stuff like that for income. Is that just like when it comes in, it goes into a general account and then you guys split it as a 50-50?
Yeah, so basically right now for all of our wholesale deals, that income is coming into that income account. and then we split it up based on the percentages, like I just showed you with the quick demonstration in our investor harvest account. That just happens to be money that's coming in from Stripe account for recurring fees or whatever. But yes, we bring it in through our income and then we split it to all of those accounts. Now for our rentals, to be honest with you, our one rental, we're literally waiting for the closing documents on, but we did create a separate sub account because we're getting a check at closing. The other rental, we have no rent income from it yet because it's still in a renovation process. So we haven't looked at what we're going to do with those rental incomes specifically. But like I said, those are actually going to move into a separate account because both rentals are going to be deeded over to our new entity that we created that's specifically for our holds.
Okay, because that's what I was wondering, if, you know, each address of your rentals has its own individual account.
Yep.
You still do that way though?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're
Okay.
pulling in each address has its own separate account.
Yeah, okay.
So
I just didn't know if,
yeah, that's just going to make it easier, I think, for the bookkeeper and accountant, because then if if there's any expenses that are getting paid or the mortgages that are getting paid or everything, like they can see everything for that one asset in that one bank account. So there's no question of like, oh, I just paid an electric bill. Is that for this property or that property? Right.
Right.
So we're keeping each address in its own. So that's a little bit different model than, let's just say, the active side of the wholesaling business. Because on a rental side, there's really not going to be much operating expenses. Obviously there will still be taxes and we'll want to take owners, you know, comp and profit, but we haven't even discussed what those percentages or what that would look like for that yet.
okay. Well, the reason I was asking is I don't have any rentals yet, but that's something I'm interested in. And I know they always say to take like 5% or 10% or whatever of the earnings and put it away in case you have, you know, the furnace goes or, you know, something else needs to be done.
Right. So we
Okay.
could do that as well. We could keep a separate account for, you know, miscellaneous repairs or I mean, they still call it OpEx, I think, for rentals, but anything that comes up, maintenance issues like that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, guys, we got about 5 minutes left. Any final questions before we wrap up? No? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end the recording.